All right, yo. So Mystikal, rapper Mystikal, New Orleans rapper Mystikal, was just sentenced to 20 years in prison. Now, he actually, at first he was, proclaiming his innocence, but he finally, pleaded guilty for the R word. Now, the backstory is, he was dating this lady, and they had a dispute over some finances. He, pretty much, according, to court documents, and he did plead guilty. He R'd her, held her against her will, did all types of debaucherous things to her. And, he was arrested and booked after that. And obviously, we know it's not the first time. He was actually a registered sex offender the whole time. He was, well, not the whole time, well, like since like 2022 or 2002. So, showing my age, right? 2002, he was actually a registered offender, and he had to register because of a previous case that he had. So the judge threw the book at him, gave him the maximum 20 years because the victim was even asking for that. The victim said, "Look, this guy is a monster. You need to get him off the streets for as long as possible." Now, they actually did downgrade the charges because it was actually a R, first degree R, strangulation, some other things. But they dropped those charges and hit him with a third degree. But it still didn't matter because he still got hit with 20 years. So the judge was like, "All right, look, all right, we can wipe this certain thing off your record, but you're gonna be 75 years old, maybe close to it before you're ever gonna get out, man. This is sick. This is disgusting. I hope that that brother can get the right help, in prison. And unfortunately, a lot of brothers, that's where they learn their lesson, behind bars, a long stint behind bars, and you're regretful. You become very apologetic, and you might find Islam, you might find Jesus, you might find whatever, but it's gonna be different for you, and you're gonna look to repent for the horror and the sins that you caused in that lady's life, man. So this is one of those things where it ain't no wait and see. You plead guilty, you plead guilty. He could have easily have fought it, because these are one of those things, almost just like a life sentence for him. Because think about it, I'm like, if you're him, you probably think, let me just fight this. Maybe I got a chance of winning. But I'm sure they had evidence, all types of stuff. So maybe it wasn't a chance in hell for him. But he still got hit. The judge still threw the book at him and gave him 20 years. That's the part that got me kind of like, wow. Wow. So yeah, man, Mystikal just sentenced down there in one of the worst states for penitentiary, Louisiana. And shout out to New Orleans, because I'll be honest with you, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. I visited there maybe 5 or 6 years ago on my birthday. Went out there for the weekend. Beautiful city, beautiful people, but Mystikal, bad look, bro. See, brother, old guy, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm going to